Opening day, let's go!
Let's go!
Woo!
Oh, man. You know
wonder,
what?
Are they hearing the remix, or that's just us?
Where is the music coming from?
Hype train. Music's coming from the hype train.
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm going to cry.
All right, we did it. We did
Okay.
it. We did it.
Gotta be honest. Drew, I'm sorry. I woke up this morning not excited about baseball.
Well,
But since then, everything has changed.
Was it the hype video that helped?
It started with the hype video.
There it
Then
is.
there was something about the shower I took this morning that just really
Let's
changed.
go.
I felt like I was washing off all the dirt of the off season.
full manscape.
I walked outside and there was the sun shining.
Yes.
And
Yes.
These are all things happening.
I was wearing a Rocky shirt and someone like looked at it and I felt like they almost just felt a little opening day. And like now opening day is in the air officially.
It's true.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can smell it, taste it.
You can.
Yeah,
You can.
It's a wonderful, glorious day of the year, no matter. And I get it. You know, a lot of people are feeling extra kind of conflicted, emotional about today.
Who do you?
with where the current state of this franchise is, but. It's a special day, especially after we only got 60 baseball games last year, and it really just didn't feel like normal baseball.
Yeah.
There were never people in the stadiums. There's going to be about 20,000 people down at Coors Field in just a minute, and I'm going to get down there and see them all, and it's going to feel like real baseball again for the first time in, I would argue, over a year.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And the question is,
There are many.
Can betting on baseball, shout out Pete Rose, make this a better experience for us? And I'm not gonna be the type of person who just goes about this whole like Rockies thing as like, this is terrible. I hate everyone. I want everyone to fail and lose. Like, I can't do that. So I've spent the morning being like, how do I make this more fun? And I think there's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
The one way that I don't think you're gonna have a lot of fun is like betting nightly on Rockies money lines.
Yeah.
like if you're going in and out of every game hoping, like, because in years past I've looked at the team and been like, I think they're gonna win more games than they lose. So if I just bet on them to win every night,
Right.
You're
actually going to make some profit.
I'm gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
I don't think this is one of those years.
Not a good strategy this year.
Yeah.
No.
But what do you think? Like, what if you're looking at? I guess the best way for me to say this is, what are the strengths of this team, and how do we turn that into a way to make it more fun to watch them?
So the biggest strength of the team is starting pitching, and I think anyone who's followed them closely, recognizes that. Germán Marquez has been very good for the last couple of years. Gets the ball on the opening day start today.
1 second. Did I even properly introduce Drew? Drew Creasman, everyone.
And the myth, the legend.
I mean, he needs no introduction. But yeah, he covers the Rockies for DNVR. If you aren't familiar, he does an incredible job. Make sure you go watch the video that we put out on the DNVR Sports Twitter account today. And it is like a small window into Drew Creasman's soul.
That's right. That's exactly right, and exactly why I am super hyped for today. And how I can get into, watching this team every day, going back to the starting pitching. Germán Marquez, like he just turned 26, and it feels like we've seen him for a while. And, he and John Gray both have an opportunity to become some of the best, or basically behind Ubaldo Jimenez, the two best strikeout pitchers in Rockies history. Every time Charlie Blackmon takes the field, he's actually moving closer and closer to being all-time Mr. Rocky, really second behind Todd Helton. He's got a way to catch Todd Helton, but he's going to pass Cargo and all kinds of all-time franchise. So those are some interesting things. But the strength of this team really is the pitching, especially, once Kyle Freeland gets back. It looks like that injury is not going to be super serious, so that was some good news. The early looks at Austin Gomber, no one was excited about that being the top return for the trade in Nolan Arenado, but looks like he'd at least be solid at the back end of the rotation. Antonio Senzatella is my dude. Like, that guy has just been, I think, really criminally underrated throughout his career and is going to be fantastic this season. John Gray in a contract year, everything to pitch for, and again, the best strikeout artist in franchise history. So I think, you're going to be wanting to look at who's tonight's starting pitcher a lot when you're making your Rockies bets.
And so that kind of goes into something Dre and I talked about on the first leg. I think the bet of the year when it comes to watching the Colorado Rockies is betting the under in the first 5 innings.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that because I do think that people expect the Rockies are going to give up a lot of runs because they're not a very good team and they're going to lose a lot of games. But I do think you're right. I think those are mostly going to come from the bullpen. Its depth is really going to be tested without Scott Oberg. And a lot of their losses are going to come from them not being able to build enough offense, not being able to score enough runs. So I think that's a really smart bet, especially again. Now check if they're reaching into their pitching depth. We have no idea what we're going to get out of Jolie Chassin, who they just randomly added to the roster at midnight last night. If they've got to call on Chichi Gonzalez or Derek Rodriguez, but as long as one of those guys, Gray, we'll find out about Gomber, but if Gray, Marquez, or Freeland or Senzatella are going, I like that bet.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the move here. And that, again, it also, I think, well, I'll get your take on this. What do you think of the offensive firepower of this team? Because I think people are so used to the Rockies having a great offense and a terrible pitching staff, and I put those in quotes because that's just narrative driven.
Yeah, that's just perception.
I think the team is the opposite this year, where they're not that offensively exciting.
Right.
But as you know, and I'll lead this into a second question later about the over-under on this team's total, you can't count on an offense for 162 games ever.
Right.
So this team is almost more built like a regular baseball team.
Yeah, it really is. With you've got your contact, try to get on base guys up top, like Ryan Maltapia is just going to try to hit singles and not really do anything much more than that. Get you some speed. They got Fuentes in there batting second, which is going to be really interesting. I think you're going to see, but Story and Blackman are your home run guys in the middle of the lineup. They're going to get theirs. Those guys are going to eat. I think C.J. Cron's going to hit a decent number of home runs this year. I think that's a solid bet. You find him on there. I'm sure, there's some interesting home run possibilities out there for him. Drew Goodman came on the DNVR Rockies podcast and said he thinks that Cron's going to hit 28 home runs or more for the Rockies this year. And it wouldn't be the first time in his career he's done that either. So,
wow.
That's a guy I think people are sleeping on a little bit. And then watch for those moments when the young guys get hot, because that's when the offense, if you're like, ooh, Ryan McMahon's on a little bit of a hot streak, or Hampson's having a good couple of weeks, or Hilliard's got it going, then they might drive a few more balls out of the ballpark. I don't think that's, like you said, going to be sustained for the season, but look out for those hot spots when the young guys get going, because then Trevor Story and Charlie Blackman are really going to eat.
Yeah. And one thing that has always happened with the Rockies is when you least expect it, a star is born.
Yeah.
For, to use a cliche term. Yeah. But this has happened over and over and over again in the club's history. Maybe it's Brendan Rodgers. Maybe Ryan McMahon, comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think that is my bold Rockies prediction of the year, is that it's not, you're never going to replace Nolan Arenado.
Right.
Yeah.
But there will be a new fan favorite by the end of this year that people don't know about now. And when I say fan favorite, I don't mean I loved Jeff Cirillo back in the day. I mean
shout out to Jeff Cirillo and Preston Wilson.
Yeah, I mean a legitimate budding star that everyone wants to buy a jersey and has someone like Trevor Story. Look at Trevor Story.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember talking with people before that season and it was he's a nice replacement defensively and could bring some excitement. Well, then he hits 8 home runs in his first week or something.
Right.
Everyone loses their mind. I do think it's just a thing that the Rockies have going for them. There's going to be a surprise star, and I think that's another thing that could be exciting about this team this year.
Yeah, and what's fun too about this team is there's actually a number of guys that could be. I think Ryan McMahon's your best bet again. If you're that's going to be your worst odds. But if you're taking Brendan Rodgers, that's a really interesting one. Josh Fuentes, the longest odds of them all. We were just talking about this, but. It's been 6 years since anybody else, or 7, since anybody else started at third base on opening day other than Nolan Arenado. Now it's his cousin, and he's out there to go, look, I'm not just Nolan Arenado's cousin. I'm Josh Fuentes. 30 teams passed on me 30 times in the draft. No one took me. And then throughout my entire minor league, he was a bench player in the minor leagues before somebody else got hurt. And they were like, hey, can you play today? And he hasn't stopped hitting ever since. And people still don't believe in him. And when he started hitting last year, the number one story about it was, well, this is cute, but it's just not going to happen. And there he is, opening day, starting at third base. And we didn't know in 2016 that Trevor Story was going to go out and do what he did and become, like you were just saying. I was comparing him to Clint Barnes at the time. Nice ball player.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And Josh Fuentes is just, we don't know. That's why you got to go. That's the beautiful thing about the game of baseball, man. You got to go out there and play it.
Yep. And it's the beautiful thing about sports, right?
Yeah.
Guys come out of nowhere all the time. Okay.
And
This
you get
leads
hot at
us
the right time.
to our dilemma of the day. And, I've got my answer, but I want to hear you talk about it. The dilemma of the day. I have my answer.
You were so torn earlier.
I know. The answer is clear. The dilemma of the day is the Rockies' season win total set irresponsibly low? Look, everyone in the world thinks that this is the worst baseball team ever. I shouldn't say everyone in the world. Everyone within a 5-mile radius of where we are right now thinks that this is the worst baseball team in the world, and Jeff Bridich is the worst GM of all time, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, to me, as a bettor, that is advantageous.
Yeah.
Because the narrative around this team, I don't think adds up with the actual team. I said it. When I look at the roster, I say oh, that's a regular-ass baseball team. 63.5 wins is not what regular-ass baseball teams do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's way too low. Look, and I'll say this with a couple of caveats. There is a scenario under which, they decide to trade Trevor Story because at some point that might be the smart thing to do with his contract running out. If they sustain another injury or two to a key spot, then that could be on the table. But starting pitching is just so much more important than people realize. It provides you with a kind of baseline. They're going to steal wins because of their quality of starting pitching, because they do have some speed in their offense to try to steal, literally steal some wins. So I've got them at 70 for the season. Patrick Lyons on the DNVR Rockies podcast, much more pessimistic about the team than I have, has them at 66. Okay. So 63.5 is, that's...
I mean, there's only one way that you can not lose 100 games and cover that. It's 63 wins exactly.
Yeah.
But, the Rockies have never... This is what really woke me up to this. The Rockies have never in their history lost 100 games.
Yeah.
And you said that on TDSP a couple weeks ago. But what you also said is the worst teams in Rockies history have had terrible starting pitching.
Right.
And terrible starting pitching will lose you so many baseball games that you're just never in. I really believe that this team, over a week's span, is going to be in more, most of the games.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is going to be a team that goes out and is down 5-0 in the third inning and they're just hopeless. I think there's actually going to be hope. And again, I'm not saying they're going to win 82 games.
Right.
I think they can win in the low 70s, and it would still be a really bad season, and they would cover this prop by almost 10 games.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I could very easily see them passing my 70-win prediction as well. Before Freeland and Oberg went down and kind of these things in spring training, I had them right about 75. I was prepared for a 75. Those guys are key losses, and that's tough. But like you said, they're just going to be in some of these games. They're going to make them close. And if a team that sent Jamie Moyer at 49 years old out there for 10 games didn't lose 100, and a team that made Kyle Kendrick their opening day starter didn't lose 100 games. The Rockies have sent some really bad teams out there. The other thing, too, is you could even argue, there's an art to losing purposefully in baseball, to tanking at the end of seasons, and the Rockies have never been good at that or never purposefully tried to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's what gives me confidence.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is they just don't even know how to lose.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So there's even, if you want to be as cynical as possible about it, you can still say, but you almost have to try to lose 100 baseball games, and the Rockies aren't going to try to do that.
And here's the last thing that this is the opening day optimist in me coming out. I really believe in dark clouds in organizations and teams, and it's not directly his fault, but I think that Nolan Arenado was really killing the vibe for this team. And I don't think that they're all celebrating that Nolan Arenado is out of the clubhouse. I think there is just a nothing to lose, happy-go-lucky, we're playing baseball for a living vibe around this team that can lead to some momentum. Again, I'm not talking about they're going to make the playoffs, but I think that they might just have a good time playing baseball. And I think that alone leads them to more than 63.5 wins.
Totally. I mean, nothing to lose, everything to gain. A lot of these guys are trying to prove they belong in the big leagues. I think there's like 5 guys on the roster today who've never been on an opening day roster. A couple of guys set to potentially make their major league debut. Few guys behind that. They're trying to prove that they belong. So I think you're right, RK. I think there was a little bit of a Total. And even the pressure to win and not disappoint an all-time legend like that and to try to get all those things. And then you come into the season and you're just trying to prove that you belong and go out there and play. And there's no expectation that you win. So when you lose, you did what was expected of you. And when you win, you can kind of go, hey, look at us. And I think the vibes are going to be a lot better around the team this year, even though the win total won't.
So because of all that,
It's a group of
I
young
kind of want to
bats,
be able,
too.
I want to be able to like this team.
They might be likable.
I think they're likable.
Yeah.
Upstairs, not so much, but down on the field, this is a very likable group of players. Like,
I think there's a movie about that.
yeah, right. You cannot root for Raimel Tapia and Garrett Hampson and Sam Hilliard and Dom Nunez and
no kidding.
Kyle Freeland and Daniel Bard and
Yep.
there's a lot of guys that are worth rooting for. Brendan Rodgers when he gets back, the whole thing. It's like it's a tough separation, and I get it, but
What's
the
up with
players
Brendan Rodgers?
themselves. Well, yeah, to Brendan Rodgers any day now, anytime now. I don't know. I still think he's going to have a big season once he gets back. He should be back within a couple of weeks, but it's starting to look very David Dahl-like in that. It's very frustrating for him and everybody around it. But still, it's like, again, you got to pull for him to come out of the other side of that and to show what his talent can be. And so plenty of guys to root for on the team.
I just think a team with very little pressure, very little expectations, a new outlook on life doesn't have the worst season in Rockies history. I just don't think it has.
Especially with the staff kind of reaching maturity in its prime and, a young, exciting lineup.
Yeah.
Those two things combine nicely. What is it about injuries with prep top 10 picks?
Yeah.
Matzek, Dahl, Rogers, Pint. It sucks, man.
Yeah, they've had just terrible luck or maybe bad scouting. Maybe I don't think it's the trainers. They've got a world-class team as far as that stuff goes. So it's just,
it's just so
some of it's
coincident.
just-
It's
yeah.
just the prep guys in the top 10.
What do you-
Because
yeah.
then Nolan worked out great, Nolan
just
was
take
great.
them later. Just
I know.
take them later. Yeah.
Austin in the comments said, big question is, will Bud play Rodgers every day and actually give him a chance? I don't think he has a choice if he's healthy.
Yeah, that was the plan coming into the season, and I'm glad he brought up Bud Black, actually, because I do think, some people are down on him a little bit, but I think he's the other part of this mix that you're throwing out there about the vibes of the team and the ability for these young guys to maybe outperform their expectations or whatever. Bud Black is the right guy to have around for a young team with nothing to lose, that playing carefree baseball. If they are going to start doing some wild things and surprising people, he's the right guy to have for that.
Especially a pitch first group.
Yeah.
We got to let you go not too long from now, so I'm going to do a little lightning round on these bets
For
for
today.
opening day. And, we went over the important future already. Another future I want you to give your opinion is Nolan Arenado over under 32.5 home runs.
Over.
Under.
Over,
Nolan Arenado's going to have a huge season. He's going to be NL MVP. People are going to celebrate him like it's his first year in baseball. It's going to be really irritating. 39 home runs for Nolan Arenado.
He's doing that thing you do so well. He's gone ahead in time, and what's the vibe? What's the narrative?
he's seen the-
Right. And as always, the narrative is the one that'll piss us off the most.
Right.
Nailed it, Drew.
Yeah.
I'm
Nailed
going
it.
the
He's a
opposite on this.
genius.
I think that Nolan Arenado has crossed the baseball gods in a bad way.
I don't hate this theory either.
Yeah, I've been here until you just said what you said. I'm kind of with you.
I get the DMs every once in a while because no one wants to say it publicly. But, do you think maybe Nolan might not quite be a superstar anymore? He was so bad last year. And
yes.
the shoulder injury, nah, I'm 50-50.
All right.
You've been on record. You think the Rockies might be sneaky tonight.
Yeah.
Plus 185 money line sneaky. Are you hedging and taking the run line? They only need to lose by a run.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think they're going to play him close. Kershaw struggles at Coors and just hasn't been as great lately. Yeah, it's hard to sweep a 4-game set. This is the winnable one. So
Let's go.
Yeah.
And our big threes, I've got the under 5.5 in the first 5. You approved of that?
Yeah.
Or does Kershaw at Coors kind of scare you?
I mean, if Kershaw,
he's pausing.
if Clayton Kershaw at Coors is the number one thing that scares you about this number, you're in a good place.
I think you're okay.
Who are the first 3 batters he's going to face?
He'll face Tapia, Fuentes, Story.
I love Tapia so much.
There's some landmines, and I hate that Herman started slow. What about the scoreless first inning?
See, I might stay away from that. At Coors Field, all you need is Tapia gets a broken bat single, Fuentes puts one in the gap. That's a run.
Yep.
Or
I would love to see that happen.
It's going to be fun seeing that massive outfield. Final one, for me at least, Herman Marquez, over 5.5 Ks. Do you approve?
I do. Yeah, that should be.
cool.
Yeah, that
That's
should be
my
pretty
jam.
good money.
That's
yeah.
my jam.
Even when he gives up like 8 runs, sometimes he'll still
Yeah.
get his 6 or 7
Yeah,
strikeouts.
for sure.
You mentioned both Rymack and CJ Cron, both in the 400s to hit a homer today.
Interesting. Well, Rymack's not in the lineup, in the starting lineup, so I wouldn't.
There you go. Terrible value there.
Well, you get
Although-
your money back if you bet. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
on a guy who doesn't start.
Crone. I like Crone showing up at his new ballpark, announcing himself.
That'd be fun.
In there against a lefty.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. That's a fun one.
It's worth
Crone to
the
go
old
yard.
sprink.
He was hot all spring training too. He hit some monster jams.
Awesome. All right, Drew. Well, you have to.
We have some quick questions real quick for Drew.
Okay, the people get questions as well. We'll allow it. We'll allow it.
Holland says, is there any realm of possibility that Story stays after this season?
Yeah, I mean it's low, but it's not impossible. I would say it's the least likely of the scenarios, but it's
It's also kind of a weird middle ground for the Rockies to be in. Like, it might just be time to start over.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Austin asks, big question is, will Bud play Rogers
We already
every
did
day?
that
Oh,
one, yeah.
sorry. I was running to grab a beer that you guys decided not to drink.
It's warm.
Well, the fridge is broken over there. I don't know what to tell you. Will the trend continue for the Rockies when pitching is good and hitting is bad, or hitting is
Oh.
good and pitching is bad?
Yeah, probably.
So alternate.
That's
Rockies
a
are
problem
like-
when you don't have depth.
Everyone's golf game.
Yeah.
Can't
All right,
always
that
get it
is
going
all.
at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's true. Depth will get you.
Yeah. All right.
I'm excited for John Gray props. I'm excited for Herman Marquez
Yeah.
props, and I'm excited for Austin Gomber props.
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it.
All right.
Drew.
This was awesome.
no,
You
yes.
have a baseball game to cover. That
I
has
do.
to feel good with fans in the
I know it's going to be
let's go,
amazing.
Drew.
I'm very excited.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, yes,
We
yes,
are going to talk
yes,
Nuggets
yes.
here in a second, but we're going to let Drew go now.
Yeah, and all those questions. Drew does this every single day. Amazing, amazing stuff on DNVR Rockies. So please check all that out.
Before we move on, a shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook, where you can get
Number
a
one.
sign-up bonus up to $1,000 using the code DNVR. That's a $1,000 sign-up bonus when you use the code DNVR at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Of course, you must be 21 or older. Colorado only bonus comprises of first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each of $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough and restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
And right now, there's a beaut. You can still get in on DraftKings. You bet $5 or more on just about any Rockies Dodgers market. Anything with shorter odds than -250. $5 or more, you'll get a mystery box boost of 25, 50, 100, or 162%.
Allie, Austin in the comments is saying my mic turned off.
It's on.
Okay.
Good.
We're back.
Good. We are back.
It's on.
Excellent.
Okay.
Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
And our big threes.
So this is causing me, I called it sports ADD. I'm really excited.
Sports distraction.
Oh, and
Wow, things have gone completely off
let's
the
move on
rails.
to Drew's. Or to
But they can
Dre's.
hear us.
Okay.
Yes, the
I'm just
world
gonna
can
say,
hear you.
I have been having some major sports ADD today where like I'm excited about the Rockies, but I'm like really excited about the Nuggets. So it's like not allowing me to like shift my focus completely. And it's because this team is playing incredible basketball and they finally get a
Real opponent.
real opponent. Exactly.
Yeah, not an.
Doing Dre's big three or your big three?
We're doing Dre's.
Yeah, we can go with me. Brody for the listeners of this show. He has gone over 3 games in a row against Montreal. The over hitting 3 of the last 3 of 5 games this season at plus 100. You're honestly stealing here and averaging 4.4 shots a game against Montreal. Again, the last 3 going over in that one, so I love that matchup. I love MPJ over 2.5 threes. Again, you reminded me of this in the playoffs. Splashing threes left and right against the Clippers, big ones. The Mike movement starts there. With AG in the lineup, he's really filled in his role. He's given this offense spacing. He's given this offense shooting. And at plus 144, I hope Mike is listening. That's a whole lot of disrespect.
It is.
For one of the better, smoothest jumpers you'll ever see. And then it's approved by Drew Creasman. You can bet on it and get your mystery box boost, or you can just bet some other market and get your boost and apply it here, because at plus 100, the under and 5.5. I like this matchup. Kershaw at Coors, he'll do just fine against this young lineup, and Herman's going to be on his A game, so I'm feeling it.
I love it. I think this hits by 4 runs at least.
Let's go.
Which is why I also like my big 3.
Yeah.
Under 0.5 runs in the first inning of Rockies Dodgers. That's plus 130.
That's a beaut.
Look, this is a little bit more of a gamble. This is kind of like I don't know. It's more of a gambler's bet than a analyst's bet.
Because a run can happen anytime.
Exactly.
Certainly in Coors Field.
You get a bloop and a blast. You get off the end of the bat. There's a lot of ways for it to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like I've seen this game in my head, and it's really low scoring for
It's
the
a slow
first,
starter. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I also have MPJ over 7.5 rebounds. This is set really low. This is
disrespectful.
Yeah, I think it is. Minus 125, also good value there. I think he cleans up the boards tonight. He gets a lot of these, so I like it at 7.5.
Also, Mike's feeling it.
Yeah,
So, he's earned a lot more trust these last couple games with how well he's fitting into his new role. So in a big game like this, I think he's going to be given a little more leeway. I think his leash is longer and longer by the day, so that's good.
Switch things up.
Oh, I
Yes,
see.
yes.
Austin didn't listen to the entirety of the first leg.
Yeah, now, his very first comment was a callback to leg 1, so Austin did listen, which I love.
But you didn't hear the end.
Didn't hear the end. The rare switch up because we have specials on the Nuggets.
Right. I didn't know there were Nugget specials out
Indeed.
there. So this one you can get a little more value than what I had, which was Yoke rebounds over 10.5. So you're saving a half rebound here. You only need to get to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nuggets do have to win.
Yep.
And he's obviously going to score 10 points.
2-point
Yeah,
favorites.
he didn't finish because he had to watch the live.
Fair enough. So yeah, at the end of the show, I switched it up when I realized they have the player parlays. They might have actually popped up while we were recording, and that's why we didn't know.
That's true.
So there you go. Jokic double-double plus Nugs to win plus 145. It's really good value. To me, this is just a bet on the Nuggets to win. I said that the other night, though, and we almost didn't hit it because they blew them out. I don't think this is a blowout game, although nothing would surprise me with the Nuggets right now.
They are minus 129 favorites. On those specials, I think MPJ over 17 and the Nuggets to win in the plus 230s is real nice. And Jamal Murray over 21 and the Nuggets to win plus 240 seems quite nice as well.
I mean, you could really just go fishing on these.
I know.
If you think the Nuggets are going to win, you just throw out all the lines. All you got to do is hit more than one.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah,
I approve
Profit
of that.
City.
I mean,
That's nice.
the only thing is that AG thing. He's going to have a game at some point where he takes up some of the offensive load.
Game 3 against the Clips, I don't think is it, though.
I don't think so either.
No.
Is he an option? Does he have like the over 14.5 and win?
He's not in any of the parlays. His number on threes is set at 1.5. You can get the over and plus money. His points are set at 12.5. So you kind of gotta like that.
I would take the under on his threes, honestly.
Combined rebounds, assists, points set at 20.5 for him, 25.5 for Mike. We've mentioned how that's been a hot one.
25.5 for Mike is such good value.
Yeah. And Aaron Gordon's rebounds set at 5.5. Player matchups. To score most points, Will Barton or Aaron Gordon? That's an interesting one. Reggie Jackson or Aaron Gordon?
These are new.
Yeah.
These weren't there when we
I don't
even
think
recorded
so.
the first leg.
Uh-uh.
Aaron Gordon or Reggie Jackson, huh?
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson, Colorado kid.
I know. Springs, right?
Yep. I don't like either of those.
Yeah, and Reggie Jackson's number set at 13.5. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Splitting the difference.
A lot of stuff here. I'm thinking that there's going to be more of these player specials added, so maybe we can tweet it if we like any of these out.
Oh, wow.
But I do think that this is like the most excited I've been for a Nuggets game in a while.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
It's a little dangerous.
It's a fun one. Yeah. Yeah.
It's still the NBA regular season where
Yes.
anything can happen.
Yes, that's true.
Millsap over under on threes. Millsap hits 2+ threes tonight. I'm out on all things Paul Millsap.
What? Because in a game like this, with AG added to the rotate, legitimately could not play. I mean, it's possible that he's not getting minutes in this.
Yes.
You know.
It's just you have like a young version of Paul Millsap now who can still dunk and stuff.
And Michael Green,
Yeah, and J. Mike.
which is kind of like
Who-
a 2-year younger version. Like,
Somehow is Nikola Jokic's favorite person in the world.
which is kind of amazing. And, like, what if they give JaVale some minutes, you know?
What's going on?
And
with
now
that?
you take out any potential, like, small ball 5 minutes from J. Mike or Paul Millsap. So, very weary of the Paul Millsap props, please.
Yeah, I'm just out on.
And a reminder, with the Nuggets, we're figuring this all out.
Yeah,
We're working
we're in
on
flux.
a 2-game sample size where they blew the opponent out within the first 3 quarters. So we really haven't gathered any real info on this.
But how about last night with the parlay? We haven't even talked about it yet. The all unders parlay.
That's great stuff. I added RJ Barrett to mine, of course.
You did.
Yeah. Mine was in the plus thousands. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was good stuff.
That's incredible.
And I thought Giannis was. It was that feeling I have just about any time I'm still
parlay.
alive in a parlay, where it was like, oh, great. And he had 9 at halftime. It looked like easy money, and then
I wanna look at our texts.
Oh God, yeah, you could give a recount. It was just, I mean, we had to stand up for ourselves and do the text thing where we get negative and we try to
Yes,
counter jinx.
yes.
It was our only solution, and at 25 points, we stopped him. I think he was at 23 or 25 when we started those texts, and that ended it.
Yeah, it did. And it looks like we lost our picture again.
As picture's also gone. It's opening day. We're hyped.
It's opening day. We're hyped. The Nugs are playing so well. The Avs, I mean, I told you exactly what was going to happen in the Avs game.
What a joke that was.
Talk about slanted ice.
Jeez Louise.
Those poor Coyotes. And then you know what I loved is
The easiest puck line we've ever had.
the most dangerous thing about the Avalanche right now is they're beating teams so badly that these teams have like a period to just try and hurt them at the end of the games.
Yeah, that's true.
But I loved Mac and those guys standing up for themselves last night saying like, no, you're not doing this crap.
They're on a different level. They were a really good team the last couple seasons. Now they're like, we know we're a good team. We're not going to put up with your shit. We're going to impose ourselves on you.
Okay,
And if you don't like it, you're going to feel us for it.
so I am getting in on this Rockies season total.
So Drew talked me into, mid-60s is probably fair.
Who really wants to get into your group chat?
Perception has overrated this by 2.5. It's basically before the tweets go out. You're merely seeing the drafts before. That margin scares the hell out of me, especially with games already being postponed. I just don't know, man. I'm staying away. I also don't want to be invested in the Rockies all season.
At least 160 games have to be played for the bet to stand.
Oh, that'd be great. They only play 160. And yeah, they're stuck at like 64.
No, if they're stuck at like 61
And they
and the
like, play
160th game
159.
gets canceled,
Holy shit, that'd be amazing.
that would be great.
Like,
So yeah,
I just want to be invested till mid-August. That's it. That's all I've got for you, Rockies.
just I want to be invested the whole time because now I've got 63.5 under my belt.
Well, there you go.
Should be fun.
Yeah,
All right,
no,
that's going to wrap it up for us today.
Enjoy it.
We're being told to hold on.
Enjoy this lit day of sports.
Look, we're back. Now everyone gets to see us one last time.
Also, bar open, has been since noon. Lots of baseball going on. Rockies, of course, kick off real soon. Get those odds boost mystery box bets in. It's going to be a great day.
I'm going to go have a beer.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.